Hello everybody, and myself. Welcome to Class 1. Today I am going to be talking about energetic sensitivity, on developing energetic sensitivity in both ways. If you don't know what that means, you will soon. And on clairsentience. And we'll be weaving those topics together and pulsing in and out, getting discursive about it and getting hyper-focused and analytical about it, getting emotional about it and probably poetic about it, getting... there's no opposite. Also, I'm glad I'm now watching the Earth and not me because I almost went down the wrong path. Well, who's to say? But I'm to say, yeah, it was the wrong path. That's where I wanted to go. Anyway. And be thinking about feeling. Be feeling about. Try to, in fact, not be thinking about. Be feeling this energy. Your energy. Just start opening up your heart to some sensitivity right now. Trying to sensitize the heart. And let that resonate in any way that it resonates. If it's not resonating intellectually, good. Let yourself fucking feel it. And if it's resonating intellectually, great. Use that as a means to dig deeper, to analyze, and to put some words around to help you understand if your head's a safe place for you and maybe your emotional body, your physical body isn't, right? It's not a judgment if you have desensitized parts. It just is. We all get that way. So if you're going into your head right now, that's cool. That means that's a safe place for you. It means you're probably a really good thinker. So honor yourself for that. And recognize that these are all muscles, right? Our head's a muscle, heart's a muscle, the way we think, right? These are all muscles. They're ways of knowing, they're ways of being. And so if we can think about wanting to expand our strengths in the feeling area right now, is what we want to be doing. Let me sit, and I can prop up my phone. This is as beautiful a place as any. And to be fair, last time I came, I didn't time walking down the mountain quite as well as I thought that I had. And it was a very cold walk down. The sun was very gone, and Sam, this is the desert, and you know how the desert works, bitch. So let me be smarter this time, learn from my lessons, integrate that shit, and find a great place to sit right here. Right there. Myself that every noise that could be codified as a distraction can actually be used like a bell for presence. And so I did that specifically with helicopters. When I hear a helicopter, it's a reminder for presence for me. So, right, like we have to modify our techniques. It's the same technique, but modify and update our techniques based on where we are in this time and space. And we incarnated here, so it's our responsibility to figure this shit out. Okay. I'm not going to say anyway, because that was not off topic per se. Though it wasn't exactly on topic in another way as well. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of water here and we're gonna get going. So we're talking about energetic sensitivity, right? That's the topic. And we're talking about all of the ways that humans are capable of receiving energy. And in energy is information, right? We start immediately decoding the energy that we receive, whether it's relational, whether it has to do with me, or if I'm just decoding energy. Like,
a rock, like that rock right there, right? Like I'm seeing it. I can have a dynamic relationship with it if I want to meditate with it or send respect to the rock, right? So I mean, it really, everything is dynamic. Okay, but hold on. Whoop. Let's not go too far. There's Sam. Stick right here. Okay, so energy. So we can receive energy and process that energy through different channels, right? So we have our intellect to process energy, our mind, our brain, I should say brain, our lower mind, right? Like our Mercury, our monkey mind. There are so many terms. The way we think, the way we observe, the way we make logic, and those things are tremendously important and incredibly out of balance in our society because patriarchy is built really just on this upper component right here, right? The intellect in terms of wind, right? In terms of those things that I already said. And so we have a society that really that really engages this muscle and really practices it and really only finds value, culturally speaking, through this, right? And so a lot of us, even if we're born more emotionally sensitive, which we'll start going into in a second, or intuitive or these different things, we're still like we don't have the language to like, we're not granted access to language right now that helps us understand those things. We just kind of like understand what's up here. And so that's only one source of knowledge though, right? And it does a lot for us, but it doesn't do all the things when we have all the shit working together, okay? So then let's talk about emotions, right? Like this is a channel of knowledge. Feeling is a channel of knowledge, and feeling is so powerful. It lasts longer than the intellect. It holds more energy than just wind alone, than just the intellect alone. Right? Our emotions are water. They are our divine feminine. Right? And I'm not saying like I'm gonna do a whole thing on divine masculinity and divine femininity being divorced from women and men and gender and like all that shit that we've been playing out for the last couple hundred years. That's just dumb, bitch. But for lack of getting into that right now, I'm just gonna say divine feminine energy, which is important. Which we need, right? Like this is what society is so fucking out of balance because we tell everybody that like fucking feeling your emotions is like, oh no, that's bad because emotions is emotional and like you're not thinking clearly. And yeah, bitch, no shit. Because I'm working from my intuition. Like you don't gotta understand that shit. I just gotta understand that shit. Okay, anyway. So that is a channel of knowledge. And some people might be like, yeah, no, I fucking feel that. I get that. But this was a little bit harder, right? So like those are, but then we also have, don't forget our physical body is so smart. Our physical body, which we experience, kind of like, we can call it the somatic experience. Thinking about like where our subtle body meets our physical body. We have this somatic experience. And by subtle body, I mean our energetic body that is not physical, our subtle body, our chakras, just the energy that is in our body that is not gross, physical energy. You know what I mean? So, we got the subtle body, somatic experiencing. That's where we at. So we have this channel of knowledge too by listening to our physical body, right? So and then do I want to I'm gonna stick with those right now. I'm going to level deeper, a level later. So some of you might be feeling like, yes, oh my God, I get like, I feel things from my physical body, like that's where my knowledge is, that's where my strength is. What is this other foreign fucking world where like I feel feelings or I am mentally, right? Because we're all come into this world with different strengths, different gifts, and it's our responsibility to hone what we're good at and strengthen where our soul wants to grow, right? These are skills that we build over lifetimes. These are muscles that we're strengthening over lifetimes. And so we're thinking about like fucking growing what's hard for us right now. And one thing that I find is that a lot of people are much more energetically sensitive than they than they think or give themselves credit for, because they don't understand what it means, but they do. Like, you know, I'm in Sedona, so there's a lot of people here that talk about energy, right? But there's also a lot of people here who fucking live here and are from here and are just like, fuck this shit, like, get the fuck out of my town, like, blah, 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 right? And like, being where I work, like, it's a pretty balanced mix. And even people who like don't consider themselves energetically sensitive, or like think this, you know, the whole woo is so bullshit, right? Like that's their intellectual process right there. They still fucking feel lit. They just don't have a way to linguistically name and value and understand the purpose and depth of the feeling, and then expand themselves to it more and allow it to expand them more, to amplify, to listen more. Okay, so talked about some of that shit. So that's, you know, some stuff's harder for others, right? So okay, so we're seeking balance between those things, right? Like those ways of knowledge. And let's talk about, folks, I'm sure many of you have, or many of you have not, it doesn't matter, the term Clairsentience, which is folks who are so energetically emotionally sensitive that they really truly feel other people's feelings, and they feel other people's feelings. Some people would define for them at the end of that clause. I've seen that written before and I'm like, bitch, that's not necessarily true. Because once you learn to hone that shit, you stop doing that shit. But that's the next part of what we're going to talk about. So for folks who really just, it's so natural. Like for me, that was always the thing growing up, and it was like I couldn't even tell my emotions apart from other people's emotions, because I was always just feeling everyone's emotions. Because the thing about really energetically emotionally sensitive people is that things like developing those boundaries can be really difficult unless you have a, you know, like, we don't typically have master teachers in this lifetime teaching us those things, or if we do, we're incredibly lucky, and bow to that, but most of us don't. And so it's our life and soul work to go in and find that shit on our own, which means also finding out from other people, like seeking out, you know, finding it. It doesn't have to be like masters just fucking update, you know, like it's just what it is. And so it's like seeking out, where was I going with that? Let me go back to where I was. Okay, so without learning that, those boundaries and how to set those energetic boundaries, and stuff just comes in, right? So as much as we want to learn on the one hand to be more energetically sensitive and to open ourselves to feelings and to allow ourselves to feel more deeply, which means doing our internal healing work of our feelings, because we can only feel as deeply as we heal, and vice versa. That shit is relational. We also want to be working on developing good, strong, energetic boundaries around us, so that we don't have to feel other people's feelings for them, but we can feel them. Because empathy and feeling is so important in order to, right, like union, in order to recognize our interconnectedness, in order to bring in this fucking next paradigm, bitches. It takes all this labor. It doesn't just not gonna fucking take this labor. It's gonna take our heart is a part of the game. And it's like, when I say it's gonna take, I mean it is our fucking heart in the game. So we gotta heal this. We gotta heal this, right? So we need to sensitize. As a society, we need to sensitize. We need to learn how to sensitize. And we need to learn how to build up boundaries around us, so that we're focusing on doing our labor, and not getting lost in doing emotional labor for other people. I'm speaking especially to femme folks who are accustomed to the point where it might not even be a part of our cognizant, conscious awareness. And so we have to ask that shit to come up so we can recognize it, so we can stop wasting our daddy fucking energy on doing labor for other people. Hand that shit back to them. It's theirs to do. We got to focus on healing ourselves. And then, and it's not, you know, a linear process like, oh, now I'm healed and now I can go help others. It's dynamic, right? And like there are phases where we just need to take care of ourselves and we just need to get to a place where we can fucking contribute. So like do what you need to do to take care of yourself first. And remember too that we interconnected. So it's like when you take care of yourself, you're contributing to the mass web of healing. And then you're more capable of, you know, you don't have that jealousy in your soul, so you're not reflecting it back to people. You don't have that fucking, and of course, no, I'm just gonna let that hang there. Whoever felt discomfort there, you can fucking feel that discomfort. I'll get into that shit later. Anyway, okay. But I totally distracted myself. Interconnectedness. So when we know this, right? Like, listen to your daddy fucking heart right now. You know this, bitch. This is the answer right here. We need to feel, okay? So we are interconnected, and we are healing through our feeling, and we are feeling through our healing. All right? You know this. Okay. So, Clairsentience, we covered that, right? So just kind of like wrapping up, going down my lesson plan in my head. Covered Clairsentience on the importance of developing energetic sensitivity in both directions, meaning in terms of letting it expand and sensitizing, and also in terms of putting up boundaries around ourselves to protect ourselves, to focus our energy. Oh, that's what I was gonna say a moment ago though too, is like it's not just about us, right? Like once we get to a place where we feel like we have the ability to have a dynamic relationship with someone where we can help each other heal, right? Like that's important labor too, right? Like it is not just about the individual. It is about like healing the patience in yourself so you can have more patience with others, right? Healing the communication issues with yourself so that you can communicate better with others. Like it is always set those expectations for like what you need, and don't settle. And at the same time too, like fucking like we are all healing. Let's learn to figure out what inside of us is reflecting that energy, and let's heal that too. And take care of yourself, and don't let anyone mistreat you or take advantage of you, and fucking do your internal shit. And if you're projecting anger, and if you're walking away, and if you're doing this and that, right, like it's all part of this shit. It's all part of it. So we're healing individually, we're healing like this, and we're healing like this. Kind of wanted to get up and do like a jazz hands when I did that, but I'm gonna save my energy. All right. And then getting back to the very name of the topic, energetic sensitivity, developing energetic sensitivity. We certainly covered that topic. Fantastic. All right. Now I'm gonna post you up somewhere where you can look at this situation, and we're gonna meditate for 5 minutes. Yeah. Oh, and if you feel like that's uncomfortable for you, do it for however amount of time feels comfortable, or don't do it, or think more about it, or let your heart speak to you, or do something that you don't consider meditation but clears your mind and allows you to listen to your heart. I'm doing ear rabbits right now. You know. Because bitch, guess what? That's meditation too. So do whatever feels good to you to clear your mind and listen to your heart. Allow any messages from your heart to come up. And then you don't have to follow their string. You can release them, but you can also note that they came up. So maybe it's important. So, right? It's not just about like, oh, why am I thinking right now? It's like, oh shit, maybe my heart's got shit to feel and it wants me to listen to it. So maybe I better fucking listen. Alright. Let me see. beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna let you be there. I'm gonna be over here. See you in a few.
whatever, whatever. Have a fantastic whatever, whatever. That's a good last line. See if it'll let me do it. No, I'm not gonna be able to do it with my mitten.